Where we drive your business. You're watching Financial Markets, and my name is Anthony, your host for this program. We are all about financial markets. To build something within the public of Uganda, to see that people get to start utilizing their savings to invest rather than keeping them in a box. Of course, following reports of, for example, Bank of Uganda, Dr. Michael Etinji, the deputy governor, recently during a certain partnership launch between Zeno Investments and MTN Uganda, he said only about 0.1% of Ugandans invest in securities, in buying and selling of securities, or are able to save and invest with the financial markets. A very disappointing statement there from the Deputy Bank of Uganda governor, and he was, of course, saying this painfully because many of these developed economies that we admire, looking at the American economy, you look at Chinese economy, you look at the United Kingdom and other European countries and economies that are doing very well, they have very, very strong capital markets. They have very strong capital markets. You cannot but grow when you have a very vibrant capital market, because here it means companies have access to money from people, from the public. The public has access to companies, and they have a say in the biggest companies. Because remember, as a shareholder, you have a role to play. You're an owner of the company. You have to make decisions. You have to take part in decision making within these companies. You have, a responsibility and a role to elect and maybe approve appointments of new leaders for the companies. You have a lot that you add to the company, besides just the capital that you contribute to the growth of the companies. And so we want to arouse your appetite for investment. We want to arouse your appetite for taking risks, because like I said, people who invest today and you're hoping to reap exactly tomorrow, you're going to get nothing at all, absolutely nothing, and I'm promising you this. And so we want, as financial markets, to urge you, the public, to urge us and to urge each other to start investing. I told you the first thing you need to do is to open yourself the SCD account, and this is absolutely free of charge. And when you do so, when you feel that you have got money that you're not going to need for some time, and you're saving that money in a bank account or in your mobile money, get that money, start buying some stock. Start small. Don't start really big. You can start with small companies. You can start with companies that are trading at as low as 6 shillings. For example, National Insurance Corporation. Yes, 6 shillings, you get a share. So if you have 60,000, you have 10,000 shares. That is the beauty of the story. 100,000, and this may not be maybe something that people may part away with easily, but we're talking about 6 shillings to buy yourself a share, for example, in National Insurance Company, and so on. And so, yes, we want to urge you to really get something from the show and be able to start your journey of investment and change the way you see money, change the way you see investment, that whenever you want to invest, you should buy a rental, you should buy land, you should buy a car, a taxi. No, these are assets that you can also still be able to invest in after investing in those things as well. And you will definitely see the growth in your incomes and getting that passive income coming in very handy. Now, let's have a look at Stanbic Bank Uganda. And Stanbic Bank Uganda, interestingly, yesterday came out as a bottom loser after losing about 1.24 Ugandan shillings. And if you can see, that was a 5.84% daily loss from yesterday's 120, from yesterday but one's 21.24 Ugandan shillings down to 20.00 Ugandan shillings. Now on the Uganda Securities Exchange. This company has been listed since 2007, 25th of January, and if you monitor just the last couple of months from 2021, that was the stock, how the stock prices were moving. Back in 2021, prices were between 25 and 27. That's around 26. And yes, those are the prices still that opened the year 2022 on the 1st of January. And we are seeing that on that day when, of course, we're opening the markets, the price was exactly 26 shillings. And when we look at that price and compare it with the closing price of 20.0, that is 23.1% depreciation in price that we are witnessing on Stanbic Uganda of their price valuation. And they're ranked number 13 on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. So in terms of year-to-date, they're in position number 13. But let's look at their value on the stock market. Currently, they are the 5th most valuable stock, and they have a total of about 51.2 billion shares that are outstanding on the equity market here in Uganda. And when you multiply that by the current price, you come to a total market capitalization of 1.02 trillion Ugandan shillings. That's their current market capitalization. And yesterday alone, they traded a total 376,200 shares, and that was valued at 7.52 million. That is in a day's trading. And when you look at a 1 week performance, they are losing by about 4.76%. And then when we look at also the 4 weeks performance, they're still ranking they're still on the losing side at 4.76% loss. On a 3 month basis, they have lost 20%. And on a 6 month basis, they have lost 28%. And on a year-to-date performance, they have lost 23.1% of their price valuation. Now let's look at another interesting part, the trading. In terms of trading, they're the 3rd most traded stock. Now, like I said, yes, the other things don't look so good on Stanbic. A very poor year-to-date performance after losing 23.1%. That is very poor performance. And then you look at the 1 week performance, still a loss of 4.76%. And then you look at when you look at their year-to-date, 3 months performance, they're still on the losing side in the 3 months after losing about 20% of their price valuation. And then when you look at the 6 month performance, still we are seeing a loss of over 28%. But now when we come back to this side of traded volumes, how much are you trading? Yes, you're doing so bad in all the other things, but how much are you trading on average? And when you look at their trading, they are ranked number 3 on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of traded volumes. And within the last 3 months, that is looking at from the 11th of May to the 15th of August, within these last 90 days, they have traded a total volume of 19.2 million shares that are valued at 411 million. That is a stock that trades 20 shillings on average, because they haven't exceeded, at least in the last 3 months, they haven't exceeded 25. So we're looking at 20, 21, 22, 20, 21, 22. That's the pricing that we have been looking at. With that small price of 20 shillings, they have had a volume, they have had a total turnover of over 4.11 That is 411 million Ugandan shillings within this period, and an average of 304,961 shares per trading session on average. And remember, number 4, we had the most traded stock was MTN on number 4, and number 1 most traded stock is Bank of Baroda. So you compare and contrast. Where do you fit? According to you, of course, I cannot make the choice for you. The broker may not make the choice for you. But for you to make an informed decision, you need such information that is vital, of course, for investment. Now, Stanbic, as I've said, they're currently ranked number three as the most traded stock and the most traded stock. And within this period, they have traded a total volume of over 19.2 million shares, valued at 411 million, with an average of over 304,000 per trading session. Now, a volume high of 10.2 million shares was achieved on the 8th of August, just last week, within this same period. So you can see they have even on a single day where they were able to trade 10 million shares. That's about 20 millions worth of shares on a single day. So meaning you're looking at huge volumes. Yes, you have them. At least within the last week, we have seen that. Over 10 million shares that were transacted. And when we now look at the performance on a daily basis, you're seeing that yesterday they traded 376,200 shares. The day before, that was 12th, they traded 55,700 shares, and then 178,877 shares, and then 10.1 million shares on the 8th of August, and so on and so forth. You can see a very beautiful performance here in terms of traded volumes for Stanbic. However, on the other side, in terms of year-to-date, they're still performing very poorly after losing 23%. And then in terms of the monthly performance, they're still losing, and the weekly performance, they're still losing. And on every other counter, daily performance, they are losing. But when you look at the longer-term performance and the trading activity that the counter is offering, they are quite a tradable stock. And what does this mean for you and me? Let us buy stock at Stanbic. At only 20 shillings, you can now access that stock. Markets are open. As I said, reach out to your stockbroker, make that order come through, and definitely they'll get you those shares settled in the next 3 working days. So you buy today, by Friday you have your shares. Simple as that. 20,000, you get 1,000 shares. 20 million, you get yourself 1 million shares, and so on and so forth. Depending on the size of your coat, you should cut your cloth. Very cheap stock they are given to you by Stanbic Bank, a very tradable stock as well. That is, of course, a Stanbic Bank for you. Definitely, we had other counters. Now let's take a look at. I will not cross into the cross listings because most of these cross listings we had these Nation Media Group and so on. But why I don't usually want to get into the details, because they don't have volumes. And what are we talking about if we're talking about prices and you're not trading on the market? There's nothing really. So we want to talk about active stock. We want to give you opportunity to invest in stocks that are actually trading and are making money, a little more money for you as a shareholder, and are making some movement on the market. Now let's look at other performers here on the market. Of course, these might not have had any volumes, or some of them could have had any volumes, but there was no movement in prices. Now, British American Tobacco Uganda, currently the company with the highest price on the stock price on the Uganda Securities Exchange, was trading yesterday at 15,000 and did not have any shifts in prices. Bank of Baroda, the number 1 most traded stock at 85 Ugandan shillings, didn't also trade any volumes yesterday, unfortunately. Centum Investments at 301.37 lost the second day in a row by 3.43, but there was no volume traded. Cipla Cipla Quality Chemicals, you know now those are ticker symbols or stock codes that we of course use on the exchange, but you can follow through and see. Cipla Quality Chemical Industries Limited is the CQCIL, and it traded 70 shillings and traded only 100 shares yesterday. DFCU Bank, that is a development finance company of Uganda, at 547 Ugandan shillings, did not have any trading done yesterday. And then East African Breweries Limited at 4,975.43 also didn't have any volumes and just came out as a loser as well. Then Equity Bank Limited also lost on the market and ended the day with a price of 1,682.17, and Jubilee Holdings Limited at 7,818.53 also lost on the market, whereas Kenya Airways lost to 120.99 Ugandan shillings. KCB, that is Kenya Commercial Bank, lost by 15 shillings to a price of 1,337.84. MTN Uganda had a volume of 45,702 after coming out as a top gainer at 190.53 Ugandan shillings. National Insurance Corporation at 6 shillings did not trade any volumes at all and didn't have any changes in price. Nation Media Group, course listed from Kenya, also came out as a loser at 601.79. And the New Vision Printing and Publishing Company at 155 Ugandan shillings, closing price, did not trade any volumes at all. Stanbic Bank Uganda, as we have seen, traded a total of 376,200 shares and came out with an end of day price of 20 shillings. And then UCL, that is Uganda Clays Limited, at exactly 19 shillings. Closing price did not also have any movement. Umeme, lastly, came out at a price of 200 shillings and did not have any movement in price as well. Those are the total 18 listed companies. I've been able to mention one by one for each one of us to really know that these companies are listed and to know exactly the prices that they're trading at the moment. At the end of the first weekday of trading, looking at the summary here after the first day of trading, we have a total of 422,002 shares. 422,002 shares that were traded yesterday, corresponding to a total market value of over 16,238,343, and these of course were Ugandan shillings that were traded. Now, compared with the previous day of trading that the Uganda Securities Exchange, there was an 82% decline in volume. Yes, the volumes declined by 82%, whereas there was also the market capitalization remained stable at around 22.9 trillion Ugandan shillings as well. I've already looked at the performance of the all share index. You can also check them out. The index went down for the all share, but the local company index went up on the contrary. That summarizes the trading day at Uganda Securities Exchange. What the exchange is telling you, you can be able to trade and open an account and buy shares at a very convenient, in a very convenient way, without much struggle, without doing a lot of paperwork at the moment. All you have to do is to dial *165 hash, and you will be able to access that. Altex East Africa is another company giving you chance though to buy now securities in terms of the debt instruments, the treasury bonds and the bills. You want to lend government, you want to lend Kenya. Right now, Kenya has just undergone an election. They need a lot of money to recover, of course, from the expenditures of the election. And so they are issuing bonds here and there, bills, and so on. So if you want to access those and more of the bills and the bonds, you are going to dial *292#, still using your MTN line, and you will be able to buy securities across East Africa at the convenience of your phone without any need to access the internet. Thank you very much for remaining with us. You're still watching Smart 24 TV, and my name is Anthony. Let's take a quick breather. We return with an overseas report about the Nairobi Securities Exchange. How has it performed after the general election? And also we look at the cryptocurrencies. How are the coins doing? How is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins doing against of course, racing against the dollar and other currencies? We'll be right back. Stay with us.